He had everything money could buy, except the truth. When millionaire Evan Carver walked into the Olympic trials, bored and empty, he never expected to see her again, the woman who vanished 9 years ago without a trace. But she wasn't alone. She was cheering for a young athlete with his eyes, his smile, his exact running form. One glance across that stadium, and Evan's carefully constructed world shattered. Was this 18-year-old track star the son he never knew existed? And if so, why did the woman he once loved keep the biggest secret of his life hidden for nearly 2 decades? Subscribe right now and comment where you're watching from, because what happens next will prove that some finish lines are just the beginning of the race. The afternoon sun blazed down on the Olympic trials stadium. Thousands of voices merged into one endless roar. Evan Carver sat in the VIP section, his designer sunglasses reflecting the track below. His suit was perfectly pressed. His watch cost more than most people's cars, but none of it made him feel anything. Come on, man. At least pretend you're having fun. Gabe Tran leaned over, grinning. His friend had dragged him here with promises of excitement and energy, something to wake him up from the fog he'd been living in. Evan shrugged. I've seen races before. Not like this. Gabe pointed toward the track where runners stretched and prepared. This is raw talent. Dreams on the line. You used to care about that stuff. Used to. Those words stung more than they should. Evan had been one of them once, a young runner with fire in his chest and speed in his legs. That was before the injury, before the money, before everything that mattered slipped through his fingers. The crowd's volume jumped higher. Evan straightened slightly, curious, despite himself. The runners approached their starting blocks. The stadium held its breath. Then Evan's gaze drifted, not to the track but across the arena, through the sea of faces and waving flags. And there, in the family section, he saw her. His heart stopped. Dark skin glowing in the sunlight. Natural hair pulled back in a ponytail. Those same eyes that used to look at him like he was everything. Talia Brooks. The gun fired. Evan barely heard it. His entire world had narrowed to one woman who shouldn't be here, who couldn't be here. The woman he'd lost 9 years ago stood across the stadium, jumping and screaming and cheering with pure joy on her face. The runners exploded forward. The crowd went wild. But Evan couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't look away. Dude, you okay? Gabe's voice seemed distant. One runner pulled ahead. Young, lean, powerful. His form was perfect. His stride reminded Evan of his own glory days. The kid flew around the track like he was born running, and Talia screamed louder than anyone. The race ended in a blur of speed and sweat. The young runner crossed the finish line first, barely ahead of the competition. The stadium erupted. People jumped to their feet. The announcer's voice boomed over the speakers. And the winner is Noah Brooks. Brooks. The name hit Evan like a punch. He watched as Talia rushed down from the stands, watched as she threw her arms around the young athlete, watched as she lifted his arm high, tears streaming down her face. Evan? Seriously, what's wrong? Gabe grabbed his shoulder, but Evan couldn't answer. He was staring at Noah Brooks, really seeing him now. The kid's smile, the shape of his jaw, the way he moved. Even from this distance, it was like looking at a ghost, like looking in a mirror. He looks like me, Evan whispered. Gabe followed his gaze, squinted. Then his eyes went wide. Holy! I need to leave. Evan stood too fast. His hands shook. Wait, who is that woman? Evan's throat felt tight. Someone I used to know. He pushed through the crowd, barely seeing where he was going. People congratulated each other. Cameras flashed. The world celebrated. And Evan's mind raced with impossible questions. How old was that kid? 18? 19? When had he last seen Talia? 9 years ago. The math was simple. The truth was terrifying. Evening came too slowly. Evan sat in his hotel suite, staring at the city lights below. He'd changed into comfortable clothes but still felt trapped in his own skin. The suite was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows, a full bar, furniture that cost more than most people's monthly rent. All of it felt hollow. Gabe burst through the door without knocking. He carried his laptop and wore the determined expression that meant he'd been investigating. Okay, I did some digging. Gabe set the laptop on the coffee table. Noah Brooks, 18 years old, born in late June, rising star in track and field. Mother's name, Talia Brooks. Father's name, not listed. Each word landed like a stone in Evan's chest. Evan. Gabe's voice softened. You think he's yours? I don't know. Evan ran his hands through his hair. Maybe. God, I don't know. Tell me about Talia. Evan closed his eyes. The memories came flooding back. We met in college, both on the track team. She was a trainer, I was the star runner everyone watched. We fell hard, planned a future together. What happened? I got an offer to train overseas, Germany. It was supposed to be temporary, just 6 months. But the night before I left, Evan's voice cracked. She saw a photo, me with another woman at a team dinner. It was nothing, just a sponsor's daughter. But Talia didn't wait for an explanation. She disappeared, changed her number, blocked me everywhere. I tried to find her when I got back, but she'd moved. It was like she vanished. Gabe leaned forward. And you never knew she was pregnant. If she was, she never told me. Pain squeezed Evan's chest. I would have come back. I would have given up everything. Maybe she didn't want you to. Evan opened his eyes. What? Maybe she thought you were cheating. Maybe she was hurt and proud and didn't want your charity. Gabe shrugged. Or maybe that kid isn't yours at all. Maybe she moved on fast. The second option hurt worse somehow. I need to know. Evan stood pacing. That boy, Gabe, you saw him. The resemblance could be coincidence, could be my son. The word hung in the air. Son. A concept Evan had never let himself imagine. He'd buried himself in business after his running career ended, made millions, bought things, stayed busy, stayed numb. But a son? That changed everything. So what's your plan? Gabe asked. Evan stared at his reflection in the dark window. I don't know yet, but I'm not leaving until I find out. Morning came with coastal fog and the sound of runners on distant tracks. Evan stood outside the Olympic training complex, pretending he belonged there. He'd dressed casually, jeans, a simple shirt, sunglasses. Trying to blend in felt foreign to him now. You sure about this? Gabe had driven him but stayed in the car. No. Evan opened the door. But I'm doing it anyway. The complex buzzed with energy. Athletes everywhere pushing themselves to impossible limits. Coaches shouted encouragement. The sound of starting pistols echoed. Evan walked slowly, scanning faces. And then he saw her. Talia stood near the practice track, handing water bottles and towels to sweating runners. She wore athletic clothes and moved with the same grace he remembered. Her smile was bright as she encouraged a young woman stretching nearby. Evan's feet stopped working. His heart hammered. What was he supposed to say? Hey, remember me, is that kid mine? Before he could decide, Talia turned. Their eyes met across 30 feet of California sunshine. Her smile vanished. The water bottle in her hand nearly dropped. For 3 heartbeats, neither of them moved. Then Talia looked away, her jaw tight. She said something to the athlete beside her and started walking, not toward Evan, but not away either. Like she knew he'd follow. He did. They met near an equipment shed, away from most of the crowds. Up close, she was even more beautiful than he remembered. A few small lines near her eyes, a confidence in her posture that hadn't been there before. She'd grown into herself. Evan. Her voice was flat. Talia. His throat felt dry. I didn't expect... What are you doing here? She crossed her arms. Gabe had extra tickets. I thought I'd check out the trials. Right. She didn't believe him. And it's just coincidence you're at the training facility today. I was hoping to talk to some sponsors. Networking. The lie felt awful. Talia's laugh was bitter. Still all about business, huh? That's not fair. Fair? Her eyes flashed. You don't get to talk to me about fair. Evan stepped closer, lowering his voice. Talia, please. It's been 9 years. Can we just... 9 years, she repeated. And now you show up here, at my son's trials. Her son. The words confirmed it. Evan's pulse raced. I saw him run yesterday. He's incredible. Yes, he is. Pride filled her voice, but also something protective. A wall going up. And we're doing just fine. So whatever you want. I don't want anything. Evan held up his hands. I wanted to say hi. To see how you've been. I've been busy. Raising a child. Building a career. Living my life. She glanced back toward the track. And I need to get back to work. Talia, don't. She turned away. Just don't, Evan. He watched her walk back toward the athletes. Her shoulders squared. The conversation had lasted maybe 2 minutes, but it felt like touching fire. All the old pain right there between them. As Evan turned to leave, he heard 2 volunteers talking nearby. That's Noah's mom, right? One asked. Yeah, sweet lady, hard worker. Kid's got his father's eyes, though. You can tell. Evan froze. The volunteers didn't notice him standing there, hidden by the equipment shed. She ever talk about the dad? The first voice asked. Nope. Single mom from day one. Real shame. But she's done amazing with that boy. Their voices faded as they walked away. But the words echoed in Evan's head, his father's eyes. He'd seen those eyes yesterday, green gold just like his own, just like the eyes staring back at him from every mirror. Evan's hands clenched into fists. He needed answers, needed truth. But Talia had built walls 9 years thick, and he had no idea how to break through them. The stadium cafeteria smelled like coffee and French fries. Evan found Gabe at a corner table, already working through a burger. "How'd it go?" Gabe asked. Evan slumped into the chair. "Terrible, she hates me." "Can you blame her?" "I didn't cheat on her." Evan's frustration boiled over. "That photo, it was nothing. Just a stupid sponsor dinner. I was going to propose when I got back from Germany. I had a ring and everything." Gabe whistled low. "Did you ever tell her that?" "I never got the chance. She cut me off completely." Evan stared at his hands. "I spent months trying to find her, hired a private investigator. Nothing. She didn't want to be found. And now there's a kid who looks exactly like me used to look, and she won't even talk to me." Gabe took a long drink of his soda. "So what's your move?" "I don't know. I can't just demand a DNA test. That's—" Evan shook his head. "But I need to know if that's my son. Then you need to make her trust you again." "How?" "She thinks I betrayed her." "Then prove you didn't." Gabe leaned forward. "Look, man, you've spent 9 years hiding, building walls, making money but not making connections. Maybe this is your chance to fix something that actually matters." Evan wanted to argue, but Gabe was right. The years after Talia had been empty. Sure, he'd succeeded in business, made more money than he'd ever dreamed, but success tasted like ashes when you celebrated alone. Through the cafeteria window, Evan could see the practice field. Noah was out there, running drills. Even from here, the kid's talent was obvious. Raw, pure, beautiful. If that was his son, Evan had missed 18 years. First steps, first words, first everything. The thought made him sick. "I'm staying," Evan said quietly. "In LA, as long as it takes. I'll figure out some excuse, business opportunities, sponsorships, whatever." Evan met his friend's eyes. "I can't walk away, not again." Gabe nodded slowly. "Okay, then let's do this right. No more lurking, no more coincidental meetings. You want answers? Be honest, even if it hurts." "She won't listen." "Then make her listen." Gabe stood grabbing his tray. "But Evan, if that is your kid and you screw this up again, I'll kick your ass myself." Despite everything, Evan smiled. "Deal." The beachside cafe was small and charming, with string lights and ocean views. Evan hadn't planned to walk in. He'd been driving aimlessly, trying to clear his head, when he saw Talia through the window. She sat at a corner table with an older woman. Similar features, same warm smile, but with silver-streaked hair and laugh lines. Her mother, probably. They were sharing a meal, talking and laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. Evan should have kept driving, should have respected her space, but his feet carried him inside before his brain could object. The door chimed. Talia looked up. Her expression shifted from relaxed to guarded in an instant. The older woman followed her gaze, and her eyes widened. "Evan Carver," she said. Not a question. A statement full of recognition. Evan approached their table slowly. "Mrs. Brooks, it's been a long time." "Lena," she corrected. "And yes, it has." "Mom," Talia said quietly. A warning, but Lena just studied Evan with sharp eyes. "You look different, older." "We all do." Evan tried to smile. "I don't want to interrupt. I just wanted to—" "Apologize?" Lena's tone was neutral, but her gaze was intense. "Mom," Talia repeated more firmly. Evan pulled out the empty chair at their table without sitting. "I know I don't have the right to ask, but could I talk to you both, just for a minute?" Talia's jaw tightened. "We're having a private dinner. Please." The word came out raw, honest, desperate. "I know you don't owe me anything. I know I hurt you, but I need you to understand that night, that photo, it wasn't what you thought." "It doesn't matter anymore," Talia said, but her voice wavered. "It matters to me." Evan finally sat, uninvited. That woman was a sponsor's daughter. The dinner was business. I had zero interest in her. Zero. I was coming back to propose to you, Talia. I had a ring in my luggage and a speech prepared and— "Stop!" Talia's eyes were wet. "Just stop. Why didn't you wait?" Evan's voice broke. "Why didn't you let me explain?" "Because I saw the way she looked at you in that photo." Talia's composure cracked. "Because you were going to Germany for 6 months, and I was scared and young and stupid. Because when I needed you to fight for me, you just left. I didn't know you were hurting. You seemed fine when I left for the airport. You said you'd wait." "I would have. A tear slipped down her cheek. Until I saw that photo. Until I realized you had a whole life overseas that didn't include me. Lena put her hand over Talia's. Baby, I called you, Evan said, 100 times from Germany. You never answered. I changed my number. I came back early, gave up the training contract, looked everywhere for you. I'd moved by then. Talia wiped her eyes. Back home with my mom. The pieces clicked into place. The misunderstanding, the pride, the walls built by two young people too hurt to keep trying. And somewhere in the aftermath, a child had been born. Evan's chest ached with the weight of lost years. Lena cleared her throat. Evan, I'm going to be blunt. Why are you here? Really? Evan met her eyes. I saw Noah run yesterday. Silence fell over the table. Talia went very still. He's talented, Evan continued carefully, and he reminds me of someone. Don't. Talia's voice was barely a whisper. I'm not here to cause trouble. I just want to know. You don't have the right to know anything. Talia stood abruptly, her chair scraping. You gave up that right when you got on a plane 9 years ago. Talia? No. Stay away from my son. Stay away from me. We don't need you. We never did. She grabbed her purse and walked toward the exit, her shoulders shaking. Evan started to follow, but Lena's hand shot out, gripping his wrist. Her strength surprised him. Give her time, Lena said softly. Mrs. Brooks. Lena, please. Is he mine? Lena's expression was unreadable. She stood slowly, gathering her things. Then she looked at him with something that might have been pity, or hope, or both. I never stopped believing you were a good man, Evan Carver, she said quietly. But belief isn't enough. If you really care about my daughter, about that boy, now prove it. Not with words, with actions, with time, with patience. Is he mine? Evan repeated, his voice cracking. Lena paused at the door. That's not my truth to tell. Then she was gone, leaving Evan alone in a cafe full of strangers, his heart hammering and his mind racing. But one thing was crystal clear now. Lena hadn't said no, she hadn't denied it, which meant there was a chance, a real, terrifying, beautiful chance that Noah Brooks was his son. Evan pulled out his phone and texted Gabe, I'm staying in LA indefinitely. Cancel all my meetings. This is more important. Then he sat there in the cafe, staring at the ocean through the window, and made a promise to himself. He wouldn't run this time. He wouldn't hide. Whatever it took, however long it took, he would find the truth. And maybe, just maybe, he could find his way back to the woman he'd never stopped loving. Morning light streamed through the media center windows. Evan hadn't planned to be there. He'd told himself he'd give Talia space after the disastrous cafe encounter. But Gabe had mentioned that sponsors were meeting athletes today, and Evan's feet had carried him there before his mind could argue. The room buzzed with activity. Journalists, cameras, athletes in matching warm-up suits. And there, near the coffee station, stood Talia and Noah. Evan's breath caught. This was the first time he'd seen them together up close. The resemblance was even stronger now. Noah had Talia's smile and warm brown skin, but his eyes, those green-gold eyes, were pure Carver. His bone structure, his height, even the way he stood, weight slightly forward, ready to move. Noah laughed at something his mother said. The sound was bright and young and full of life. Everything Evan had missed. Before he could retreat, a reporter spotted him. Mr. Carver, Evan Carver, right? The tech investor? Heads turned, including Talia's. Her expression hardened instantly. Yes. Evan tried to smile. Just here to learn about youth athletics. Perfect timing. The reporter gestured enthusiastically. We're interviewing rising stars. You know Noah Brooks. He's the one everyone's talking about. Noah approached with easy confidence, extending his hand. Nice to meet you, sir. The handshake lasted 3 seconds. But in those 3 seconds, Evan felt electricity run through him. This close, Noah's eyes were impossible to deny. They were his own eyes looking back at him from a younger face. The pleasure's mine, Evan managed. Your race yesterday was incredible. Thank you. Noah's smile was genuine. Are you looking to sponsor athletes? Maybe. I'm exploring options. Noah, we need to go, Talia said tightly. She stood a few feet away, arms crossed, but the reporter jumped in. Actually, since you're both here, let's grab a quick photo. Local athlete meets potential sponsor. Great story. That's not necessary, Talia started. It'll just take a second, the reporter insisted. Before anyone could protest further, cameras flashed. Evan stood awkwardly beside Noah, who seemed comfortable with the attention. Talia hovered at the edge of the frame, her smile forced and thin. Beautiful family energy, the reporter commented, checking his camera. Talia's eyes went wide. We're not staying long, Evan cut in smoothly. But thank you for the opportunity. More flashes, more questions. The reporter asked about Evan's business, Noah's training, future plans. Through it all, Talia radiated silent fury. Finally, mercifully, the interview ended. Noah shook Evan's hand again. Thanks for believing in me, Mr. Carver. Call me Evan. And you've got something special, kid. Don't let anyone tell you different. Noah's smile brightened. I won't. As the young athlete walked toward another group of reporters, Talia grabbed Evan's elbow. Her grip was iron. Outside, now. She dragged him through a side door into a quiet hallway. The moment they were alone, she whirled on him. What are you doing? Her voice was low but shaking with anger. I was invited to the media event. I didn't plan to take photos with my son. Didn't plan to play the inspiring investor role. Her eyes blazed. Stay away from him, Evan. I wasn't trying to. I mean it. She stepped closer. Her finger pointed at his chest. You don't get to walk back into our lives and play hero. You don't get to charm him and make promises you won't keep. I would never. You already did. The words exploded out of her. You left once. You'll leave again. That's what you do. The accusations stung because part of him feared she was right. He'd spent 9 years running from feelings, hiding behind money and business. But this was different. This mattered. I'm not leaving, Evan said quietly. Yes, you are. In a few days, you'll get bored and fly back to your mansion and your empty life, and my son will wonder why another person disappeared. Another person? Evan frowned. Talia, I didn't know. It doesn't matter what you knew. Tears threatened at the corners of her eyes. What matters is protecting Noah, and I won't let you hurt him the way you hurt me. Before Evan could respond, Noah appeared in the doorway. Mum, they want us back for... He stopped, noticing the tension. Everything okay? Talia's expression transformed instantly. Smile in place, shoulders relaxed, the mask of a mother protecting her child. Fine, baby. Just talking business. Let's go. She brushed past Evan without another glance. Noah followed but looked back with curious eyes. Eyes that carried questions Evan wanted desperately to answer. 2 days passed. Evan couldn't stay away. He showed up at dawn practices with coffee and breakfast sandwiches for the staff. He watched from a distance as Noah trained, drinking in every moment. He made small talk with coaches and other sponsors, building a reputation as the wealthy investor interested in youth sports. It was all a cover, all pretense, because what he really wanted was impossible to ask for. On the third morning, Talia was waiting for him. She stood near the bleachers, arms crossed, watching him approach with coffee carriers. You're persistent, she said. I'm interested in the program. The lie felt thinner each time. Right. She didn't move, blocking his path. And it has nothing to do with Noah. Evan set down the coffee. Can we talk? Honestly? We tried that at the cafe. Didn't go well. Please, 5 minutes. No games, no excuses. Just truth. Something in his voice must have reached her. Talia glanced toward the track, where Noah stretched with other runners, then nodded once. 5 minutes. They walked to a shaded area away from the crowds. Joggers passed on a nearby trail. The morning smelled like cut grass and ocean breeze. I loved you, Evan started. That's the truth I need you to know. I loved you more than running, more than training, more than any opportunity. That photo meant nothing. That trip to Germany was supposed to be the start of our future. I was going to compete internationally and come back with enough credibility to get coaching jobs here. We were going to build something together. Talia's jaw tightened, but she listened. When you disappeared, it broke me, Evan continued. I looked everywhere, hired people, drove myself crazy, and when I couldn't find you, I buried myself in work, made money because it was the only thing I could control, but none of it filled the hole you left. Evan, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for anything except honesty. Noah, his voice cracked. Is he mine? Talia closed her eyes. A long moment passed. When she opened them again, tears had gathered. I don't know. What? I mean, probably, almost certainly, but I never took a test, never confirmed it. She wrapped her arms around herself. I found out I was pregnant 3 months after you left. By then, I'd convinced myself you'd moved on. I was scared and alone, and my mom said I had to decide, reach out and risk more heartbreak or raise the baby on my own terms. You should have told me. I know. The words were barely a whisper. I know that now. But I was 21 and terrified and so angry at you. I thought you'd chosen Germany over me. I thought... She trailed off. Thought what? That you'd resent being trapped. That you'd come back out of obligation, not love. That Noah would grow up feeling like he ruined your dreams. Talia wiped her eyes. So I made the choice for you. I kept him and raised him and loved him enough for 2 parents, and I told myself it was the right decision. Evan's heart hammered. And now? Now I'm still terrified. She looked at him directly. Because Noah's about to achieve his dreams. He's happy and focused and whole, and if you walk into his life claiming to be his father, everything changes. If you're not ready for that, if you're going to leave again, it will destroy him. I'm not leaving, Evan said firmly. You say that now. I mean it. He stepped closer. Talia, I've wasted 9 years. I've achieved everything I thought I wanted and felt nothing. But watching Noah run, seeing him smile, knowing he might be mine, it's the first time I've felt alive since you left. I'm not walking away. Not from him. Not from you. Her breath caught. Evan, I still love you, he admitted. The words hung in the morning air, raw and true. I never stopped. And if there's even a chance to be part of your lives, I'll do whatever it takes. Tests, conversations, therapy, whatever Noah needs. But please don't shut me out again. Talia opened her mouth to respond, but a voice called from the track. Mom, Coach wants you. She turned toward Noah's wave, then back to Evan. Her expression was complicated, hope and fear tangled together. This isn't simple. I know. And I need time to think, to figure out how to tell Noah without breaking his world. I'll wait. Evan managed a small smile. I've gotten pretty good at waiting. Have you? Something flickered in her eyes. Not quite forgiveness, but maybe the beginning of understanding. No, he admitted. But for you and him, I'll learn. She almost smiled. Almost. Then she turned and jogged back toward the track, leaving Evan standing in the shade, his heart pounding with cautious hope. The coffee breaks became routine. Talia didn't invite him exactly, but she stopped walking away when he approached. They'd sit on the bleachers during athlete rest periods, sipping overpriced lattes, talking around the elephant between them. He wants to go to UCLA, Talia mentioned one morning. Full scholarship if he keeps performing. Sports medicine major. Following in your footsteps. Evan remembered her own athletic training career. He's smarter than I ever was. More focused. Pride filled her voice. Never gave me trouble growing up. Just worked hard and stayed humble. You raised him well. I did my best. She paused. Mom helped. A lot. We lived with her until Noah was 10. She covered bills while I built my career. We're a team. Evan thought of Lena's words at the cafe. She's a good woman. Always was. She liked you, you know. Before everything fell apart, Talia traced the rim of her cup. She was furious with me for not telling you about the pregnancy. Said you deserved to know. We fought about it for months. But you never called. I typed your number 100 times. Never hit send. She looked at him finally. I was too proud, too scared. Take your pick. I get it. And he did. They'd both been young and stubborn and broken. Can I ask you something? Maybe. Does he ever ask about his father? Talia's expression tightened. Sometimes. When he was little, I'd say his dad wasn't able to be there but would be proud of him. As he got older, he stopped asking, focused on running instead. It's like he filled that empty space with achievement. Guilt twisted in Evan's gut. Talia, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just being honest. You asked for truth, remember? I did. He set down his coffee. When are you going to tell him? I don't know. After the trials, maybe. When the pressure's off, she sighed. Or maybe never. Maybe it's better if he doesn't know. If we just let him live his life without the complication. You don't believe that. I don't know what I believe anymore. She stood abruptly. I need to get back. But as she walked away, Evan noticed she'd smiled at him first. A real smile, small but genuine. Progress. The text came at midnight 3 days later. Evan was already awake, unable to sleep, when his phone buzzed. Gabe, check social media, now. Evan's stomach dropped. He opened his Twitter feed and saw the photo immediately. It was from the media event. Him, Noah, and Talia, all in frame. But someone had edited it, circling their faces, adding arrows and question marks. The caption read, Tech millionaire Evan Carver, athlete Noah Brooks and trainer Talia Brooks. Secret family? Notice the eyes. Notice the resemblance. Someone's keeping secrets. Olympic trials. Shaka family scandal. The tweet already had thousands of shares. Comments ranged from supportive to cruel. Speculation ran wild. Someone had even dug up old photos of Evan from his running days, comparing them side by side with Noah's race shots. The resemblance was undeniable, even to strangers on the internet. Evan called Talia immediately. She answered on the first ring, her voice thick with tears. Have you seen it? Just now. Talia, I'm so sorry. I never meant... They're calling me a gold digger, saying I trapped you, saying Noah's only getting attention because of your money. She was crying now. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Where are you? My hotel. But there are reporters outside. Someone recognized me at the front desk and now there are cameras everywhere. I'm coming over. No, that'll make it worse. I don't care. You shouldn't be alone right now. Evan was already grabbing his keys. Which hotel? She told him. He was out the door in seconds. The hotel lobby was chaos. Cameras flashed the moment Evan walked in. Questions bombarded him from every direction. Mr. Carver, is Noah Brooks your son? How long have you been hiding this? Does this affect your business relationships? Evan pushed through without answering. Hotel security tried to help, but the crowd was relentless. He made it to the elevator just as a reporter shoved a microphone in his face. Just tell us the truth, Mr. Carver. Is that your son? The elevator doors closed. Evan leaned against the wall, heart pounding. This was spinning out of control faster than he'd imagined. Talia answered her door before he could knock. Her eyes were red, her face puffy from crying. She pulled him inside quickly, checking the hallway before shutting the door. This is a nightmare, she whispered. Evan pulled her into a hug. She resisted for half a second, then collapsed against his chest, sobbing. He held her tight, stroking her hair, murmuring comfort. We'll fix this, he promised. How? It's everywhere. Noah's going to see it. Everyone's going to ask him questions he can't answer. Because I never told him the truth. She pulled back, wiping her face. I should have been honest from the start. Should have prepared him. Now he's going to find out from strangers on the internet. Where is he? Olympic Village with the other athletes. They limit phone access during competition weeks, thank God. But his coach knows. People are talking. It's only a matter of time. Evan's mind raced. Okay, we need to get ahead of this. Make a statement. Control the narrative. What statement? We don't even know for sure if... She stopped. If I'm his father, Evan finished quietly, then let's find out. Tonight, we can get a DNA test done privately. Have answers before the story gets bigger. Talia shook her head. No, I won't do that to him without his consent. He deserves to be part of this decision. Then we tell him, together, before he hears it from someone else. Fear flashed across her face. Evan, he has his final qualifying race in 2 days. This could destroy his focus, his confidence, everything he's worked for. Or it could give him closure. Evan took her hands. Talia, he's going to find out anyway. Better from us than from a tabloid headline. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. After the qualifying race, win or lose, we tell him everything. Together. Together, Evan agreed. They stood in her hotel room, holding hands, united for the first time in 9 years. Outside, cameras flashed and reporters shouted. But in that moment, it was just the two of them against the world, like it should have been from the beginning. Morning came with more headlines. The story had grown legs overnight. By breakfast, 3 major news outlets had picked it up. Photos of Evan, Noah, and Talia were everywhere. Speculation filled every comment section. Coach Rivera called an emergency meeting with Noah. Evan wasn't there, but Talia texted him updates. Coach is handling it, telling Noah to ignore the noise and focus on running. N seems okay, but I can tell he's shaken. Evan spent the morning fielding calls from his business partners, his publicist, even his lawyer. Everyone wanted a statement. Everyone wanted answers. Tell them nothing, Evan instructed. No comments until after the qualifying race. This silence is making people assume the worst, his publicist warned. I don't care. Noah's race comes first. Everything else can wait. He hung up and stared at his reflection in the hotel window. Somewhere out there, a kid who might be his son was preparing for the most important race of his young life, and Evan couldn't even be there to support him. The unfairness of it burned. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Coach Rivera. Noah asked if you could come to practice. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just be there. Evan's hands shook as he typed back, I'll be there in 20 minutes. The training facility had extra security now. Reporters were kept behind barriers, but their cameras had long lenses. Evan kept his head down as he walked through. Coach Rivera met him at the entrance. He was a stocky man with grey at his temples and the weathered face of someone who'd spent decades under the sun. He knows something's going on, the coach said quietly. Won't say what, but he asked if you were really interested in sponsoring him or if it was something else. What did you tell him? That you'd have to answer that yourself. Rivera studied him. You are his father, aren't you? Evan met his eyes. Probably. We're going to find out for certain after the race. Rivera nodded slowly. He's a good kid. Best I've ever coached. Whatever happens, don't break his heart. That's the last thing I want. Then prove it. Rivera led him toward the practice track. Noah was stretching near the starting blocks. When he saw Evan, he straightened. His expression was guarded, but not hostile. Curious. "Hey," Noah said. "Hey." Evan's throat felt tight. "Coach said you wanted to talk?" "Yeah." Noah glanced around at the other athletes, then jerked his head toward the equipment shed. "Somewhere private." They walked in silence. Evan's heart hammered. This was it. The moment where everything could fall apart or come together. Behind the shed, away from prying eyes, Noah turned to face him. Those green gold eyes, Evan's eyes, were serious. "Everyone's saying you're my dad," Noah said bluntly. Evan respected the directness. "I might be. Your mom and I, we were together a long time ago. The timing lines up, but we don't know for certain yet. Why didn't you say something when we met?" "Because it wasn't my truth to tell. Your mom needed to decide when and how to tell you. I was trying to respect that." Noah absorbed this. "Did you know about me? Before you saw me run?" "No, I swear. If I'd known, I would have been there. I would have been part of your life from day one." Evan's voice cracked. "Your mom and I lost touch before she knew she was pregnant. I spent years trying to find her. She never mentioned you, like, ever." Noah's voice held no accusation, just confusion. "I asked when I was little. She'd just say you weren't around. I figured you didn't want me." The words were a knife to Evan's chest. "That's not... God, Noah, that's not true at all. I didn't know you existed. But if you are my son, you're the most important thing that's ever happened to me." Noah's eyes glistened. "Are you going to take a test?" "If you want me to. If you're okay with it." Evan stepped closer. "But Noah, whatever that test says, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm so damn proud of you I can barely breathe." A tear slipped down Noah's cheek. He wiped it away quickly, embarrassed. "I have a race in 2 days." "I know. I need to focus." "I know that too. But after..." Noah's voice was small, young, vulnerable. "After the race, we'll talk? All of us? Figure this out?" "Absolutely. Whatever you need." Noah nodded, then did something that made Evan's heart stop. He stepped forward and hugged him, just for a second, quick and awkward and perfect. "Thanks for coming," Noah whispered. Then he pulled away and jogged back toward the track, leaving Evan standing in the shadows, tears streaming down his face, his chest full of hope and heartbreak and love. The afternoon sun beat down on the practice track with brutal intensity. Evan watched from the bleachers as Noah ran drills with 3 other athletes. The kid moved like poetry, fluid, powerful, unstoppable. Every stride reminded Evan of his own glory days, but better somehow, more refined. Talia stood near the sidelines with water bottles and towels. She caught Evan's eye and offered a small wave. Things between them had shifted since the media chaos. Not fixed exactly, but softer, like maybe they were both tired of fighting. Coach Rivera shouted instructions. "Last set, give me everything!" The runners exploded forward. Noah pulled ahead immediately, his legs pumping with perfect form. Evan leaned forward, captivated. This was what pure talent looked like, what dedication and heart could achieve. Then Noah stumbled, just slightly, a hitch in his stride. He pushed through it, but Evan saw the grimace flash across his face. "Come on, Brooks," the coach yelled. "Don't quit on me." Noah accelerated, closing the gap he'd lost. His jaw was clenched. Sweat poured down his face. He crossed the finish line first, but the moment he stopped running, his legs buckled. He went down hard. "Noah!" Talia dropped everything and sprinted across the track. Evan was already moving. He vaulted over the bleacher railing and ran, his dress shoes kicking up dust. Other athletes clustered around Noah's fallen form. Coach Rivera pushed through, dropping to his knees. "Give him space," the coach ordered. "Someone call medical!" Evan reached them as Talia cradled Noah's head in her lap. The kid's eyes were half closed, his skin pale beneath the brown. "Baby, can you hear me?" Talia's voice shook. "Noah, talk to me." "Okay," Noah mumbled. "Just dizzy." "When did you last eat?" Coach Rivera demanded. Noah didn't answer. His eyelids fluttered. "He skipped breakfast," one of the other runners offered quietly. "Said he wasn't hungry, wanted to make weight." "Christ!" The coach yanked off his cap. "Kid, you can't starve yourself before training." The medical team arrived with a stretcher and equipment. They checked Noah's vitals while Talia held his hand, tears streaming down her face. Evan stood back, feeling helpless and terrified and useless. Blood pressure's low, one medic announced. Dehydration, probably hasn't eaten properly in days. I was trying to stay light, Noah protested weakly. For the race. You'll be too weak to race if you don't fuel properly, the medic said firmly. We're taking you to the medical tent. IV fluids and monitoring. They lifted Noah onto the stretcher. He tried to sit up, but the medics pushed him back down gently. Rest, son. Let us do our job. Talia followed the stretcher, still gripping Noah's hand. Evan trailed behind, his heart pounding. This was his fault somehow. The stress of the media attention, the confusion about paternity, it had distracted Noah from basics like eating and hydration. Inside the medical tent, the air was cool and quiet. They settled Noah on a cot and started an IV. Color slowly returned to his face. Talia sat beside him, stroking his forehead, murmuring soft reassurances. Evan hung back near the entrance, uncertain if he belonged here. This was a mother-son moment. He was still just a stranger with a DNA question. But then Noah's eyes found him. You stayed. Of course I stayed. Evan moved closer. How are you feeling? Stupid. Noah managed a weak smile. Coach is going to kill me. Coach is worried about you, Talia corrected. We all are. The medic checked Noah's IV. You'll be fine, but you need rest. No more training today. Light meals, plenty of water, and sleep. The qualifying race is in 2 days. Your body needs recovery time. I can't rest. I need to practice. You need to listen, the medic said firmly, or you'll collapse again. Maybe on the track, in front of thousands. Is that what you want? Noah slumped back against the pillow. No. Then rest. The medic made notes on a clipboard. I'm keeping you here for 2 hours. So after that, someone needs to make sure you eat a proper dinner and get to bed early. I'll handle it, Talia said immediately. The medic left. Silence settled over the tent, broken only by the quiet drip of the IV. Noah closed his eyes. Within minutes, his breathing deepened. Sleep claimed him. Talia sagged in her chair, exhausted. Evan pulled up another chair and sat beside her. He's okay, Evan said softly. This time, she wiped her eyes. But what if it happens during the actual race? What if the pressure is too much? He's stronger than you think. He's 18. He's just a kid. Her voice broke. And all this stress about you and me and the media, it's breaking him. Talia, I should have told him years ago. Should have been honest from the start. Then none of this would feel so overwhelming. Evan reached for her hand. She let him take it. We can't change the past, but we can make sure he knows we're both here for him now. Together. She looked at their joined hands. I'm scared, Evan. Scared of losing him. Scared of him hating me for lying. Scared that you'll realize this is too hard and disappear. I won't disappear. How can you promise that? You don't even know if he's yours. It doesn't matter. The truth of it settled over Evan like a weight. Test or no test, DNA or not, that kid matters to me. He matters because he's yours. Because he's incredible. Because watching him run makes me feel alive for the first time in 9 years. Talia's eyes filled with fresh tears. You really mean that? Every word. She leaned her head on his shoulder. They sat like that for a long time, holding hands, watching Noah sleep, bound together by fear and hope and something that felt dangerously close to love. The next day brought better news. Noah was rested, fed, and back to his normal self. The doctor cleared him for light activity. Coach Rivera supervised every bite Noah ate, every sip of water he took. The qualifying race was tomorrow. Everything had to be perfect. Evan kept his distance, respecting boundaries, but he couldn't stay away completely. He watched from the parking lot as Noah jogged easy laps. The kid looked good, strong, focused. His phone buzzed. A text from Talia. Can you come to my hotel tonight, 8 p.m.? We need to talk before tomorrow. Evan's stomach tightened. This was it. The conversation they'd been avoiding. He texted back, I'll be there. The hours crawled by. Evan tried to work, to distract himself. Nothing helped. At 7:30, he gave up and headed to Talia's hotel. She answered the door in comfortable clothes, leggings and an oversized sweater. Her hair was down, natural curls framing her face. She looked tired but beautiful. Come in. She stepped aside. The hotel room was modest. A queen bed, small desk, pictures of Noah scattered across every surface. His whole life documented in photographs. First day of school, track meets, graduation, birthdays, all the moments Evan had missed. I ordered pizza, Talia said. Hope you're hungry. They sat on the floor, backs against the bed, sharing slices in comfortable silence. It felt strangely normal, like old times when they'd been young and broke and happy. "I've been thinking," Talia finally said, "about tomorrow, about what happens after." "Okay. Noah wants the DNA test. He told me this morning, said he needs to know for certain." She set down her pizza. "Are you still willing?" "Absolutely. Whatever he needs. And if it confirms what we already suspect, that you're his father?" She turned to face him. "What then, Evan? What does that look like?" Evan thought carefully. "It looks like whatever Noah's comfortable with. If he wants space, I'll give him space. If he wants to get to know me, I'm here. No pressure, no expectations, just presence. And us?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "What about us? Is this just about Noah, or is there something else here?" She gestured between them. "Because I feel it. This pull, like the 9 years never happened. But I need to know if it's real or if it's just nostalgia and proximity." Evan set down his own pizza and took her hands. "It's real, Talia. At least for me. I never stopped loving you. Never stopped wondering what if. And now being near you again, talking to you, seeing the woman you've become, I'm falling all over again. That scares me. It scares me too." He smiled sadly. "But not as much as the thought of walking away without trying." Talia searched his face. "I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to hurt you again. But what if we can't make it work? What if we're too different now? What if the past is too heavy? Then we'll deal with it. Together." Evan squeezed her hands. "But Talia, we owe it to ourselves to find out, don't we?" She leaned forward slowly, gave him time to pull back. When he didn't, she kissed him. It was soft and tentative, and tasted like pizza and hope. Evan's hands cradled her face. Her fingers tangled in his hair. The kiss deepened, carrying 9 years of longing and regret and love that had never quite died. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathing hard. "Okay," Talia whispered. "We'll try. After tomorrow. After the race and the test and all the chaos, we'll try. That's all I'm asking." They stayed on the floor, holding each other, talking until midnight. About Noah's childhood, about Evan's empty years, about dreams and mistakes and second chances. By the time Evan left, something had shifted. The walls between them were crumbling. Maybe, just maybe, they could build something new from the ruins. Race day dawned clear and bright. The stadium filled early, buzzing with anticipation. This was it, the qualifying race that would determine who went to the Olympics. Dreams would be made or shattered in the next few hours. Evan sat in the stands with Gabe, surrounded by thousands of strangers. Talia was down on the field with the athletes. Lena sat 2 rows in front of them, her shoulders tight with tension. "You nervous?" Gabe asked. "Terrified," Evan admitted. "For the race, or for what comes after?" "Both." The athletes began entering the stadium. The crowd roared. Evan spotted Noah immediately. Number 17, blue and white uniform, expression focused and calm. The kid had slept well, eaten properly, and looked ready for battle. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer's voice boomed, "welcome to the men's 400-meter qualifying finals." The cheers were deafening. Evan's heart pounded. This was more than just a race. This was Noah's entire future, and in a strange way, it was Evan's future too. The runners took their positions. Noah settled into lane 4, his starting stance perfect. Evan held his breath. The gun fired. They exploded forward in a blur of motion. Noah shot ahead immediately, his stride eating up the track. The crowd went wild. Beside Evan, Gabe was on his feet, shouting. Halfway through the race, Noah held the lead. His form was flawless. He looked strong and smooth and unstoppable. Then disaster struck. A runner in lane 3 stumbled, his trajectory shifting. He crashed into Noah's lane. The collision was minor, barely a touch, but enough to break Noah's rhythm. He lurched sideways, arms windmilling for balance. The crowd gasped. Talia screamed from the sidelines. Noah recovered. Somehow, impossibly, he stayed on his feet, but he'd lost precious seconds. 3 runners passed him, then a 4th. "Come on," Evan whispered, his hands clenched into fists. "Come on, kid." The final stretch approached. Noah dug deep, his face a mask of determination. He poured everything into his legs, his lungs, his will. 1 runner fell back, then another. 50 meters left. Noah pulled even with the leader. The 2 runners matched stride for stride, neither giving an inch. The finish line rushed closer. 20 meters. 10. They crossed together in a photo finish. The crowd erupted into chaos. Nobody knew who'd won. The scoreboard flashed. Reviewing photo. Evan couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The wait stretched into eternity. Then the board updated. Noah Brooks, first place, qualified. The stadium exploded. People jumped and screamed and hugged strangers. On the field, Noah collapsed to his knees, hands over his face. Talia ran to him, pulling him into a fierce embrace. Evan stood frozen, tears streaming down his face. The kid had done it. Against all odds, despite the collision, Noah had won. He qualified! Gabe grabbed Evan's shoulders. Your son qualified for the Olympics. My son. The words struck Evan like lightning. He didn't have confirmation yet, didn't have test results or official answers. But in that moment, watching Noah celebrate with his mother, seeing the pure joy and relief on both their faces, Evan knew the truth. That was his son, his blood, his legacy, and nothing, no test, no document, no doubt, would ever change that. The celebration backstage was controlled chaos. Athletes, coaches, family members, and media crowded every space. Cameras flashed constantly. Reporters shouted questions. Noah stood at the center of it all, medal around his neck, smile bright enough to light the world. Evan hung back, letting the kid have his moment. This was Noah's victory, his achievement. Evan was just a spectator. But then Noah's eyes found him through the crowd. The smile widened. Noah said something to Coach Rivera, then pushed through the throng of people, heading straight for Evan. You came, Noah said, slightly breathless. I wouldn't have missed it. Evan's throat was tight. You were incredible out there. That recovery after the collision, I've never seen anything like it. I almost lost it. Noah's hands shook slightly from the adrenaline. For a second, I thought it was over. But then I heard Mom screaming and I just refused to quit. That's what champions do. Noah looked down at his medal, then back up at Evan. Can we talk? After all this calms down? Absolutely. Whenever you're ready. Tonight. Mom's hotel, she said. Noah hesitated. She said you guys have things to tell me. Evan's heart clenched. We do. Important things. But Noah, whatever happens, I want you to know. Mr. Brooks. A reporter shoved between them, camera rolling. How does it feel to be Olympic-bound? Noah was pulled away into another round of interviews, but he glanced back at Evan once, something vulnerable and hopeful in his eyes. Evan found Talia near the medical tent. She was talking to Lena, both women glowing with pride and relief. When Talia saw Evan, she broke away and walked to him. Tonight, she said quietly, we tell him everything. Are you ready? No, she smiled through tears, but we're doing it anyway. Together. Together. They stood in the chaos of celebration, two people who'd loved and lost and found their way back, preparing to face the truth that would change all their lives forever. The race was won. But the hardest part was still ahead. The knock came at 8 o'clock sharp. Talia opened the door to find Noah and Evan standing in the hallway, together. They'd met in the lobby, apparently, started talking. The sight of them side by side made her breath catch. The resemblance was undeniable, father and son, whether confirmed or not. Come in. She stepped aside. Lena was already there, sitting in the desk chair. She'd insisted on being present for moral support. Noah hugged his grandmother, then took a seat on the bed. Evan sat in the other chair. Talia remained standing, too nervous to sit. So, Noah started, his voice steady despite the tension. I'm guessing this is about the whole "is Evan my dad" thing that's been all over the internet. Leave it to an 18-year-old to cut straight to the point. Yes, Talia said. It's about that. And about things I should have told you a long time ago. She told the story, all of it. Meeting Evan in college, falling in love, the misunderstanding about the photo, the breakup, finding out she was pregnant, making the choice to raise Noah alone. I convinced myself it was the right decision, Talia said, tears streaming now. I told myself Evan had moved on and wouldn't want the responsibility, but the truth is I was scared and proud and stupid, and I robbed you both of 18 years together. That's on me, not him. Me. Noah absorbed this quietly. His expression was hard to read. When she finished, he turned to Evan. Did you really not know? Noah asked. I swear on my life I had no idea. Evan leaned forward, earnest. If I'd known, nothing would have kept me away. Not pride, not distance, not anything. You would have been the center of my world. And now? Now that you know? Now you're still the center of my world. Test or no test, DNA or not, you matter to me, Noah. Watching you run, talking to you, getting to know you, It's the best thing that's happened to me in 9 years. Noah's eyes glistened. I want to take the test. I need to know for sure. We can do it tomorrow, Talia said. Private lab. Results in 48 hours. Okay. Noah nodded. Then he looked between his mother and Evan. And what about you two? Are you getting back together or something? Talia glanced at Evan. He gave her a small, encouraging nod. We're figuring that out, she admitted. It's complicated, but we care about each other, and we both care about you. So I might get a dad, and you might get a boyfriend, and everything changes. Noah's voice cracked slightly. After 18 years of it just being us. Baby. Talia moved to sit beside him. I'm not mad, Noah said quickly. I'm just processing. This is a lot. Take all the time you need, Evan said. There's no pressure, no expectations. We move at whatever pace you're comfortable with. Noah was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at Evan with those green-gold eyes, the same eyes Evan saw in the mirror every morning. If you are my dad, Noah said carefully, I just have one question. Anything. Will you stay, like actually stay? Not just for the exciting parts, but for the boring stuff too. Because I don't need a part-time father. I need someone all in or all out. The question hung in the air. Lena watched Evan closely. Talia held her breath. Evan stood and crossed to Noah. He knelt down so they were eye level. I'm all in, Evan said firmly. Win or lose. Good days and bad. Boring, exciting, whatever comes. If you're my son, I'm your father. Fully, completely, for the rest of my life. And if the test somehow says we're not related by blood, I'm still here. Because you're Noah Brooks. You're an Olympic athlete with a huge heart and incredible talent. And I want to be part of your life however you'll let me. A tear slipped down Noah's cheek. Okay. Okay? Yeah. Noah smiled through his tears. Okay, let's take the test. Figure this out. And then, he glanced at his mom. Then maybe we can try being a family. A weird, complicated, put-together late kind of family. But a family. Talia sobbed openly now. Evan pulled Noah into a hug. The embrace was tight and long and full of 18 years of missed moments. When they finally pulled apart, Lena was dabbing her eyes with a tissue. Well, she said, voice thick with emotion, I guess we're going to need a bigger table for Thanksgiving. Everyone laughed. The tension broke. They spent the next hour talking. About logistics, about feelings, about the future. It wasn't perfect. Questions remained. Uncertainty lingered. But for the first time, they faced it together. As Evan prepared to leave, Noah walked him to the door. Hey, Noah said quietly. Thanks for staying, for fighting for this, for us. Thank you for giving me the chance. Evan gripped Noah's shoulder. I'm proud of you, kid. So damn proud. I know, Noah said. I can tell. They shared one more quick hug. Then Evan left, his heart full of hope and fear and love so overwhelming it almost hurt. Tomorrow they'd take the test. In 2 days, they'd have answers. But somehow, Evan already knew the truth. He'd found his son. He'd found his way back to the woman he loved. And despite all the lost years, despite every mistake and missed moment, he'd been given a second chance. He wasn't going to waste it. The DNA test took 15 minutes. A simple cheek swab in a private medical office, witnessed by a lab technician who didn't ask questions. Noah went first, then Evan. The technician sealed the samples in separate containers and promised results within 48 hours. That's it? Noah asked, sounding almost disappointed. That's it, the technician confirmed. We'll call with the results. They walked out into the bright Los Angeles morning. Talia had stayed in the waiting room, too nervous to watch. She stood when they emerged, searching their faces. Done, Evan said simply. Now we wait, Noah added. The three of them stood in the parking lot, suddenly awkward. 2 days felt like forever, and no time at all. Everything hung in the balance, their past, their future, their chance at being a family. I need to get to training, Noah finally said. Coach wants me doing light workouts, keeping the momentum from yesterday. I'll drive you, Talia offered. Actually, Noah glanced at Evan. Could he take me? I thought maybe we could talk more, get to know each other, just in case. Talia's eyes widened, then softened. Of course, if Evan doesn't mind. I'd love to, Evan said, trying to keep his voice steady. They dropped Talia at her hotel. She kissed Noah's forehead and squeezed Evan's hand before getting out. Text me when you get there safely. We will, Noah promised. The drive to the training complex was quiet at first. Evan navigated LA traffic, while Noah stared out the window. Finally, the kid spoke. Tell me about when you ran track. What was it like? Evan smiled at the memory. Like flying, like being invincible. I was never the fastest guy on the team, but I was the hungriest. I'd run until my legs gave out, then run some more. What made you stop? Tore my ACL during Olympic trials. Same age as you, actually, 21. The old pain flickered. I was supposed to qualify that day. Instead, I ended up in surgery. By the time I recovered, my speed was gone, the edge that made me competitive. That must have killed you. It did. For a long time I was angry, bitter, felt like the universe had robbed me of my purpose. Evan merged onto the freeway. But eventually I realized running wasn't my only talent. I was good with numbers, with business strategy, so I shifted gears. Started investing, building companies, made more money than I ever would have as an athlete. But you weren't happy, Noah said quietly. Evan glanced at him, surprised. No, I wasn't. How'd you know? Because you had everything, but you were sitting alone at the trials looking miserable. Noah's insight cut deep. Mom always says money can't buy the things that matter. Guess she was right. She usually is. Evan smiled. Your mom is one of the smartest, strongest people I've ever known. Raising you alone, building her career, staying kind through all of it, that takes serious strength. She cried a lot when I was little. Noah's voice was soft. I remember hearing her at night, trying to be quiet so I wouldn't hear. I didn't understand then, but now, she was grieving you. Wasn't she? The truth of it hit Evan hard. Probably, we both were, just in different ways. They pulled into the training facility. Athletes jogged on the track. Coaches shouted instructions. Life moved forward, relentless and beautiful. Noah unbuckled his seatbelt but didn't get out. If the test says you're my dad, I want you to know something. Okay. I'm not going to call you dad right away. That feels too fast. But maybe someday, if you earn it. Noah met his eyes. Fair? More than fair. Evan's throat was tight. I don't expect anything, Noah. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's what we'll do. Cool? Noah opened the door, then paused. Thanks for the ride. And for talking. It helps. Anytime. Literally. You can call me at 3 in the morning if you need to. Noah grinned. Don't tempt me. I'm a night owl. He hopped out and jogged toward the track, waving once before disappearing into the cluster of athletes. Evan sat in his car watching, his heart so full it ached. This was what mattered. Not money or success or business deals, just a kid, his kid, trusting him enough to share a car ride and ask questions. Everything else was just noise. The 48 hours crawled by like 48 years. Evan tried to work, failed, tried to sleep, failed worse. He spent most of his time at the training facility, watching Noah practice, talking with Talia during breaks, learning how to exist in this strange limbo between stranger and father. Talia seemed equally restless. They had lunch together both days, quiet meals where they talked about everything except the test, Noah's childhood, Evan's business, movies they'd both seen, books they'd read. The conversations felt like getting to know each other all over again. You're different, Talia said on the second day. They sat at a beachside cafe, the same one where everything had started to shift. More grounded, less guarded. You bring that out in me. Evan stirred his coffee. You and Noah. You make me want to be better, be real. You were always real. You just forgot for a while. 9 years is more than a while. True. She smiled sadly. We both lost ourselves a bit, but maybe that's okay. Maybe we needed to fall apart to appreciate what we have now. And what do we have now? She reached across the table, taking his hand. A chance, that's all. No guarantees. No perfect endings promised. Just a chance to try again. I'll take it. He laced their fingers together. Whatever happens with the test, I'm not walking away from you, Talia. Not again. Good. She squeezed his hand. Because I'm not letting you. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the ocean waves, holding hands like teenagers. It wasn't perfect. Too much history stood between them. But it was a start. And sometimes, a start was enough. The call came on the third morning. Evan was in his hotel room trying to focus on email when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. His heart stopped. This is Evan Carver. Mr. Carver, this is Dr. Chen from Pacific Coast Genetics. Your test results are ready. Are you able to discuss them now? Evan's hands shook. Yes, tell me. A pause. The longest pause of Evan's life. The results indicate a 99.9% probability of paternity. Congratulations, Mr. Carver. Noah Brooks is your biological son. The room tilted. Evan sat down hard on the bed, phone pressed to his ear, barely breathing. Mr. Carver, are you there? I'm here. His voice cracked. Thank you. Thank you for calling. He hung up in a daze, stared at nothing. The confirmation settled over him like a blanket, warm and heavy and terrifying. He had a son, an actual son, 18 years old, talented, kind, incredible. His son. Evan's phone rang again. Talia's number. "Did they call you?" he asked immediately. "Yes," she was crying. "Evan, he's yours. Our baby is yours." "I know. I just—" His own tears came then. "I can't believe it. 18 years. We have a son. We have a son," she repeated, laughing and crying at once. "What do we do now?" "We tell Noah together, just like we promised. He's at the training facility. Can you meet us there in an hour?" "I'm leaving now." Evan drove too fast, his mind racing faster. He was a father. The word kept echoing. Father, Dad, Papa, all the titles he'd never thought he'd claim. They were his now, real and official and permanent. At the training facility, Talia waited outside the main building. Her eyes were red, but her smile was radiant. Evan pulled her into a hug, holding tight. "We're really doing this," she whispered. "We really are." They found Noah stretching near the track. Coach Rivera spotted them first and called Noah over. The kid jogged up, sweat glistening on his skin, curiosity in his eyes. "What's up? You guys look weird. Can we talk?" Talia asked. "Somewhere private?" Noah's expression shifted. Understanding dawned. The results came. Yes. They walked to a quiet area behind the equipment shed, the same spot where Noah and Evan had talked days ago. The morning sun cast long shadows. Birds sang in nearby trees. The world kept spinning, oblivious to the moment about to change 3 lives forever. Talia took Noah's hand. "The test confirmed it, baby. Evan is your biological father." Noah went very still. His eyes moved from his mother to Evan and back. "You're sure?" 99.9% certain, Evan said. "I'm your dad, Noah, officially." For a long moment, Noah just stared. Then his face crumpled. Tears spilled over. "I have a dad. You have a dad." Evan stepped forward, arms open. "If you want one." Noah crashed into the hug. His shoulders shook with sobs. Relief, joy, grief for lost years, all mixed together. Evan held him tight, his own tears falling into Noah's hair. Talia joined them, wrapping her arms around both. They stood like that, 3 people broken by the past, choosing to heal together. "I'm sorry," Noah choked out. "I don't know why I'm crying." "Because it matters," Evan said. "Because feelings matter. And this is a big feeling." "The biggest," Noah agreed. He pulled back, wiping his face. "So what now? How does this work?" "However you want it to work," Talia said. "We figure it out together as a family." "A family?" Noah tested the word. "Yeah, I like that." They talked logistics. Evan wanted to support Noah financially, college, training, whatever he needed. Noah insisted he didn't want charity. They compromised on investment in the future. Talia worried about media attention. They agreed to release a simple statement, confirming the relationship, asking for privacy, focusing on Noah's Olympic journey. "One more thing," Noah said. He looked at Evan with those shared green-gold eyes. "I'm not ready to call you Dad yet. That still feels weird. Can I just call you Evan for now?" "Absolutely. Whatever you're comfortable with. But maybe someday, when it feels right. Whenever you're ready," Evan promised. "I'm not going anywhere." Noah nodded, satisfied. Then he grinned, that bright, easy smile that lit up his whole face. "This is crazy. Yesterday I was just a kid with a single mom. Today I'm a kid with 2 parents who are maybe dating, and a millionaire dad who used to run track. It's like a movie." "A weird movie," Talia added. "The best kind," Evan said. They laughed together, the sound carrying across the empty practice field. It wasn't perfect. Questions remained. Adjustments would take time, but they were together. Finally, impossibly, they were together. And that was everything. The public statement went live that afternoon. Short, simple, honest. Evan Carver and Talia Brooks confirm that Noah Brooks is their son. They are grateful for privacy during this time as they focus on family and Noah's continued Olympic preparation. "Thank you for your understanding and support." The internet exploded anyway. Speculation ran wild, but the family ignored it. They'd told their truth. The rest was noise. The next week passed in a blur. Noah trained hard, focused on maintaining peak condition. Evan attended every practice, learning to be present without being intrusive. Talia coordinated schedules, medical appointments, and meal plans with the efficiency of a general. They had dinners together most nights, sometimes at restaurants, sometimes takeout in Talia's hotel room. Lena joined often, her sharp humor keeping everyone grounded. The conversations flowed easier each day. They shared stories, told jokes, argued about movies and music and politics. They were becoming a family. Not perfect, not traditional, but real. One evening, after Noah had gone to bed early, Evan and Talia walked along the beach. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink. Waves crashed against the shore. The air smelled like salt and possibility. "I've been thinking," Talia said, "about us." Evan's heart jumped. "Yeah? We've been so focused on Noah that we haven't really talked about what we are, what we're doing. What do you want us to be?" She stopped walking and turned to face him. "I want to try, really try. Not just for Noah, but for us. Because I love you, Evan. I never stopped. And I think maybe we deserve a second chance at happiness. I love you too." The words came easily now. "I want all of it. The relationship, the family, the messy, complicated, beautiful life. I want to wake up next to you and fight about stupid things, and make up and build something that lasts." "That's a lot of want." She smiled through tears. "It's 18 years of want catching up all at once." She laughed and kissed him. It was different from the kiss in her hotel room. Less tentative, more certain. A kiss that promised future and commitment and love, strong enough to survive mistakes. When they pulled apart, Talia rested her forehead against his. "We're really doing this, the whole thing. You, me, Noah, a family. We really are. It's terrifying. It's perfect." They walked back hand in hand, the ocean breeze cool against their skin, both knowing that challenges would come. Life wasn't a fairy tale, but they'd face it together this time. No more running, no more hiding, just three people choosing each other, every single day. 3 weeks later, Evan stood in a dusty lot on the outskirts of LA. The old community track was run down, cracked pavement, weeds pushing through, rusted bleachers sagging dangerously. But it had potential. Good bones, as Lena called it. "You're serious about this?" Noah asked. He'd driven out with Talia and his grandmother to see Evan's latest project. "Dead serious." Evan gestured at the space. "This is where your mom trained when she was young, right?" "Yeah," Talia said, surprised. "How did you know?" "You mentioned it once, years ago. Said it was your favorite place in the world." Evan smiled. "I bought the property last week. Figured we could restore it. Make it a training facility for kids who can't afford fancy programs. Give them the same chance you and I had." Talia's eyes filled with tears. "Evan, we'll call it Brooks Carver Community Track. Equal names, equal investment." He looked at Noah. "And when you're done competing, if you want, you can help run it. Coach the next generation." Noah's jaw dropped. "Are you serious?" "I'm always serious about the things that matter. This is..." Noah looked around the rundown track, seeing not what it was, but what it could become. "This is incredible." Lena wiped her eyes. "You're a good man, Evan Carver. Better than I remembered. I'm trying to be." He pulled Talia close. "We all deserve a place to run, a place to dream." Figured it was time to give back. They spent the afternoon walking the property, making plans. Noah suggested adding a weightlifting area. Talia wanted physical therapy space. Lena insisted on comfortable seating for families. Evan took notes on everything, his heart full. This was legacy. Not money or business success, but something that would outlast him. A place where kids could discover their potential, where families could gather, where dreams could take flight. As the sun set, painting the cracked track gold, the four of them stood together, a family built from broken pieces, glued back together with love and forgiveness and second chances. "We should take a picture," Noah suggested, "for the wall when this place opens." They clustered together, arms around each other. Noah held up his phone for a selfie. They smiled, genuine, joyful, free. The camera clicked. "Perfect," Noah said, checking the image. "We look like a real family." "We are a real family," Talia corrected. "The best kind," Evan added. "The kind that chose each other." They stayed until dark, talking about the future, laughing about the past, existing fully in the present. No regrets, no what-ifs, just four people who'd found their way back to each other against impossible odds. 6 months later, the Brooks Carver Community Track opened with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Local news covered it. Community members showed up by the hundreds. Kids raced on the newly paved track, their laughter echoing off fresh bleachers. Noah stood at the microphone, Olympic medal around his neck. He'd won bronze in Paris, a result that made him prouder than gold. "This place represents second chances," Noah told the crowd. "My mom got her second chance at love. My dad got his second chance at family. And now, Kids in this community get their second chance at dreams. That's what we're about. Hope, possibility. The belief that it's never too late to start running. The crowd erupted in applause. Evan and Talia stood side by side, engaged now, a small ring on her finger, plans for a quiet wedding in the fall. Lena beamed beside them, already planning the reception. After the ceremony, as families explored the new facility, Noah pulled Evan aside. "Hey, I've been thinking about something." "What's up?" Noah shifted his weight, suddenly shy. "That thing about calling you Dad, I think I'm ready now. If that's still okay." Evan's vision blurred with tears. "Yeah, kid, that's more than okay." "Cool." Noah smiled. "Just wanted you to know." Dad. The word hung in the air between them. Simple, powerful, perfect. Evan pulled Noah into a tight hug, and over his son's shoulder he caught Talia watching. She was crying too, happy tears that said everything words couldn't. They'd crossed their finish line. After years of running from pain, from truth, from each other, they'd finally stopped, found each other, built something beautiful from the ruins of what they'd lost. As the sun set over the new track, casting everything in golden light, Evan looked around at his family, his son, his future wife, the community they were building together. He thought about the millionaire who'd sat bored at Olympic trials 6 months ago, empty and numb and lost. That man was gone. In his place stood a father, a partner, a man who'd learned that the greatest victories weren't measured in money or medals, but in love and second chances, and the courage to try again. "Ready to go home?" Talia asked, sliding her hand into his. Home. Not a hotel or a mansion or an empty penthouse. Home was wherever they were together. "Yeah," Evan said, pulling her close. "Let's go home." They walked across the track as evening fell, Noah jogging ahead to catch up with his grandmother, the four of them leaving footprints on the fresh surface, marks that said they'd been here, they'd tried, they'd won. Not because life was perfect, or problems were solved, or pain was erased, but because they'd chosen each other, because love that endures time is the strongest victory, because forgiveness turns endings into new beginnings, and because sometimes when you stop running from your past, you discover it's been chasing you with open arms all along. The finish line wasn't an ending after all, it was just the start of something beautiful. The end.